For millennia, they have stood sentinel against the relentless march of time. Colossal, enigmatic, and utterly captivating. The Great Pyramids of Egypt. This is about asking difficult questions, following the evidence where it leads, and daring to consider possibilities that challenge our comfortable narratives of human history. Because when you look closely at the pyramids, truly look, a subtle yet profound question begins to emerge. How did they achieve such feats? And what else were they designed to do? The most popular theories involve elaborate ramp systems, either a single straight ramp, multiple smaller ramps, or a spiraling ramp ascending the structure. The joints between many of the casing stones are so fine that a razor blade cannot be inserted between them. This level of masonry precision is challenging even with modern tools, let alone with copper tools and manual labor. For example, providing a baseline explanation often feels like a series of possible solutions, rather than a definitive, fully satisfying one. It struggles to reconcile the immense scale, the bewildering precision, the sheer volume of work with the tools and techniques we know they possessed. This isn't to diminish the incredible ingenuity of the ancient Egyptians, but rather to ask, did they possess more ingenuity and perhaps even different tools than we currently credit them with? Could there be an overlooked element? A missing piece of the puzzle that explains how these titanic structures were not just built, but seemingly imbued with qualities that defy the limitations of their presumed era. The conventional answers, for many, leave too many lingering questions. And it is in those lingering questions that we find the fertile ground for exploring more unconventional, yet potentially profound possibilities. The very act of questioning the established narrative is the first step toward a deeper understanding. It is entirely constructed from massive red granite blocks, quarried nearly 500 miles south, near Aswan. These blocks, as mentioned, weigh up to 80 tons. Not only were they transported an incredible distance, but they were then lifted and meticulously placed within the pyramid's core. To lift an 80-ton block using only manual labor and simple mechanical advantage would require an immense number of people and a structural support system that seems beyond the capabilities commonly attributed to the ancient Egyptians. How did they achieve this without visible evidence of the necessary infrastructure? No massive timber structures, no sophisticated pulley systems that would leave a trace? How were these massive blocks, many of them granite, an extremely hard material, cut with such accuracy? The conventional explanation involves pounding stones with dolerite balls, a laborious and time-consuming process that, while capable of rough shaping, struggles to account for the razor-sharp edges and flat surfaces observed. Experimental archaeology has attempted to replicate some of these methods on a smaller scale, demonstrating that, in theory, moving large stones is possible. However, scaling these experiments up to the size of the Great Pyramid reveals inherent logistical nightmares. Imagine the sheer volume of material needed to build a ramp large enough to reach the pyramid's 481-foot summit. A ramp that would itself be a monumental construction project, perhaps larger than the pyramid itself, and which leaves virtually no archaeological trace. Where did all that ramp material go? And how were the massive capstones placed with such exactitude at such a height? Monuments to an ancient civilization that, even today, defies our complete comprehension. We marvel at their sheer scale, the precision of their construction, the profound astronomical alignments that seem almost impossibly accurate for their era, but a complex network of voids and anomalies that do imperfectly align with the simplistic ramp and lever narratives. Some researchers have suggested these internal features might indicate the use of sophisticated internal construction methods, or even serve a purpose beyond simple access. But what if our modern understanding, rooted in conventional archaeology and engineering, is only scratching the surface of their true purpose? What if these magnificent structures, far from being mere tombs or elaborate sundials, were something that hints at a level of forgotten knowledge? A technology, or even an energy source, that we are only now beginning to re-examine with fresh eyes. Prepare to journey into a realm where history intertwines with cutting-edge physics, where ancient myths whisper of advanced principles, and where the very stones of Giza might hold a secret far grander and more electrifying than we've ever dared to imagine. What if the pyramids weren't just built by something we don't understand, but were in fact powered by something we don't understand. This isn't about wild speculation or fringe theories for their own sake. Let us begin with what we think we know. The prevailing archaeological consensus attributes the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza, for instance, to an immense workforce employing ramps, levers, and sheer brute force. Millions of precisely cut stones, some weighing many tons, moved into position with an astonishing degree of accuracy. The statistics alone are mind-boggling. Approximately 2.3 million blocks, averaging 2.5 tons each. With some of the larger granite blocks in the King's Chamber weighing up to 80 tons, transported from quarries hundreds of miles away. The corners are nearly perfect right angles, and the base is almost perfectly level across its vast area. The sides are oriented almost precisely to true north, south, east, and west. For decades, engineers and archaeologists have proposed various methods to explain this colossal undertaking. Beyond the sheer logistics of moving stones, consider the unparalleled precision. Furthermore, recent studies utilizing techniques like microgravimetry and seismic surveys have revealed an incredibly intricate internal structure within the pyramids, not just chambers and passageways. Take the King's Chamber and the Great Pyramid, the accepted narrative. If the engineering challenges suggest something beyond simple physical labor, perhaps the answer lies not in how they were built, but what they were designed to do. For centuries, various esoteric traditions, and even some intrepid scientists have flirted with the idea that the pyramids, particularly the Great Pyramid of Giza, were not merely tombs or ritual sites. The King's Chamber, Queen's Chamber, and the Grand Gallery, for instance, are not merely functional spaces. They exhibit specific dimensions, materials, and orientations that have led some to propose they act as resonators or waveguides for certain frequencies. Some researchers point to images resembling light bulbs or batteries in the Dendera light, though mainstream Egyptology largely dismisses these as ritualistic depictions. However, if we entertain the possibility of a deeper, perhaps hidden, technological understanding, these images take on a new intrigue. While conventionally interpreted as ventilation or astronomical alignments for the pharaoh's soul to ascend, some theories propose they could have served as waveguides for acoustic energy or acted as conduits for certain atmospheric phenomena. But its persistence and the unexpected connections it draws between seemingly disparate fields compels us to keep asking questions. What if the pyramids were not passive monuments, but active installations? What if their geometry, their materials, and their internal layout were all part of a grand design to harness, transmit, or even generate a form of energy that remains largely unrecognized by modern science? The implications are staggering. It's pushing the boundaries of what we believe ancient civilizations were capable of, and perhaps even offering clues to forgotten principles of physics. The precise angles of these shafts, aligning with specific stars at certain epochs, this might not just be for observation, but for interaction with cosmic energies. What if the magic and divine power described in ancient texts were not merely supernatural phenomena, but the ancient way of describing advanced scientific principles they didn't yet fully comprehend in modern terms? The King's Chamber in particular is made almost entirely of granite. It sits on a powerful geological energy node where several fault lines converge. Some alternative theories suggest that the pyramids were strategically placed to tap into these natural geological energies. The consistent internal temperature of the Great Pyramid, hovering around 20 degrees Celsius year-round, despite external fluctuations, has also been cited as evidence of an advanced thermal regulation system, or perhaps a byproduct of an energy-generating process, a material known for its piezoelectric properties, meaning it can generate an electric charge when subjected to mechanical stress, or conversely, vibrate when an electric current is applied, functioned as some kind of machine, a device designed to harness or generate energy. This concept, while often relegated to the fringes, gains intriguing traction when examined through the lens of both ancient lore and modern scientific principles. Consider the internal architecture of the Great Pyramid. It possesses a peculiar arrangement of chambers and shafts that seem to defy simple explanation for burial purposes. Now, this isn't to say the ancient Egyptians had power outlets. Rather, the hypothesis suggests a sophisticated understanding of natural energies, perhaps telluric currents from the earth, cosmic rays, or even vibrational acoustics. that could be amplified or focused by the pyramid's unique geometry and material composition. Think of it not as an electrical power plant in the modern sense, but as an ancient device designed to manipulate ambient energy fields. It's a concept that resonates surprisingly with the work of visionaries like Nikola Tesla, who famously experimented with wireless energy transmission and resonance, believing the Earth itself was a giant conductor of energy. Furthermore, there are tantalizing hints in ancient Egyptian texts and iconography that, while often interpreted as purely symbolic, could be re-examined for a more literal meaning. The very location of the Giza Plateau is also significant. Consider the star shafts or air shafts extending from the king's and queen's chambers. This energy hypothesis is not without its challenges and its detractors, who rightly demand empirical proof. Beyond the grand theories of harnessing telluric or cosmic energies, a more subtle, this extraordinary, towering passageway with its high... As early as the 18th century, scientists like Ernst Chladni demonstrated how sound vibrations could organize particles into intricate geometric patterns. Modern research continues to explore how sound can manipulate matter. While this is certainly a leap, it prompts the question, could a deep, forgotten understanding of vibrational physics have allowed the Egyptians to use sound in ways we can barely conceive, perhaps even to reduce friction, or to levitate objects, or to influence the molecular structure of stone, corbelled ceiling and precisely angled walls? Some experimental archaeologists have explored the possibility that specific frequencies of vibration, generated through various means, could have aided in the cutting and shaping of blocks, essentially making the stone more pliable or brittle along certain lines. This is a highly debated area, but it highlights the persistent questioning of how such precision was achieved. Has long puzzled researchers. The pyramids were indeed massive acoustic resonators capable of focusing and amplifying specific frequencies, then their purpose extends far beyond simple burial. They become active instruments, capable of creating powerful energetic fields that could have served ceremonial, spiritual, or even speculatively, technological functions. This perspective invites us to listen not just with our ears, but with our imagination. To the silent symphony, etched into the very stones of Giza, the echoes of a lost science, perhaps, waiting for us to hear them. While conventionally interpreted as an elaborate ramp or staging area for the king's chamber, its unique design suggests something far more intricate. When modern acoustic engineers have modeled the Grand Gallery, they've found it possesses remarkable resonant properties. Specific frequencies, when introduced into the space, are amplified and sustained, creating powerful standing waves. Some have likened it to a gigantic organ pipe or a sophisticated Helmholtz resonator, yet equally profound. Aspect of the pyramid's potential function lies in the realm of acoustics and vibration. Some researchers have speculated about the potential for infrasound, frequencies below the range of human hearing, to have played a role. Infrasound can be generated by natural phenomena like wind, seismic activity, or even large moving bodies of water. Certain frequencies of infrasound can have profound physiological and psychological effects on the human body. From feelings of awe and unease to direct physical sensations, could the pyramids have been designed to capture, amplify, or even generate specific infrasound frequencies, perhaps as part of a ritual, or even as a means to influence their own construction? What if the very construction and internal design of these massive structures were intended to manipulate sound in ways we are only now beginning to grasp? This isn't about mere echoes. It's about the sophisticated understanding of resonance, standing waves, and the potential for sound to act as a powerful, even transformative force. Consider the Grand Gallery within the Great Pyramid. But why would an ancient civilization dedicate such immense effort to creating an acoustic marvel? Here's where the theory becomes truly intriguing. Ancient cultures across the globe, from the megalithic builders of Malta to the creators of Newgrange, demonstrated an uncanny awareness of acoustic phenomena in their sacred spaces. Sounds within these structures could induce altered states of consciousness, facilitate healing, or even influence the physical properties of materials. In ancient Egypt, the very act of chanting and ritual utterance was central to their spiritual practices. What if the pyramids were designed to enhance and focus these vocalizations, creating a powerful, immersive sonic experience that transcended mere ritual? Furthermore, this idea ties into the broader concept of cymatics, the study of visible sound and vibration. The very act of carving and shaping hard stone with what we perceive as primitive tools also brings acoustics into play. It's a humbling thought that a civilization so ancient might have possessed a sophisticated, empirical knowledge of acoustics that allowed them to interact with the world in ways we only just beginning to rediscover. If the pyramids were designed to interact with energy, whether acoustic or otherwise, then how might that energy have been generated or amplified? One of the more audacious yet intriguing theories involves the presence of specific materials within or beneath the pyramids, materials known for their conductive or catalytic properties. Some theories propose that these structures were designed to interact directly with this underground water table. Water, especially moving water, can generate energy. While there's no direct archaeological evidence of large quantities of mercury being used in the pyramids, ancient texts from other cultures, like the Vimanas of ancient India, speak of flying machines powered by red mercury and complex vortex engines. The Baghdad battery almost polished surfaces found in some of the pyramid's chambers and sarcophagi, surfaces that are difficult to achieve with conventional tools. Some have even proposed that a form of electrolysis or a similar process involving water and perhaps other chemicals could have been used to shape and polish the stone, or even to create a kind of ancient concrete that was then precisely molded. A widely debated artifact from Parthian Iraq, often lacking direct archaeological proof. However, they stem from a place of genuine curiosity about the anomalies that persist, despite conventional explanations. The questions about water's interaction, the potential for rare materials, and the intriguing parallels to simpler ancient electrical devices force us to expand our thinking. If the pyramids were indeed designed to be active machines, then the precise control and manipulation of elements like water and other natural resources would have been paramount, suggesting a level of scientific understanding that pushes the boundaries of our historical textbooks. The pursuit of these hidden mechanisms, even if they remain unproven, opens up exhilarating new avenues for understanding these truly monumental and mysterious structures. Is a prime example of how ancient cultures could have understood and utilized basic electrochemical principles. While its true purpose remains debated, it demonstrates the technical capacity for simple galvanic cells in antiquity. Could the materials within the pyramid, copper, granite, water, have been intentionally arranged to create a gigantic, slow-acting, or highly resonant form of ancient battery? The very air within the sealed chambers of the pyramid has been found to have an unusually high ionization, a phenomenon sometimes associated with electrical activity. While this is certainly speculative for Egypt, the idea of mercury's unique properties, its high density, electrical conductivity, and peculiar behavior has fueled these discussions. Could mercury, perhaps used in smaller, sealed conduits or reservoirs, have acted as a component in an electrochemical cell? Or even as a fluid that could be manipulated by magnetic or vibrational fields? Think of hydroelectric power, albeit on a vastly different scale and using different principles. Could the intricate network of shafts, chambers, potential hidden conduits within and beneath the pyramid have been designed to channel and manipulate this flowing water in a way that produced a form of energy or vibration? Specifically, we're talking about water and mercury, not just as basic elements, but as integral components in a larger, forgotten system, eventually reaching a subterranean chamber that is partially filled with water. This feature, unlike the main chambers, appears raw and unfinished, leading to speculation that it predates the pyramid itself, or was part of an earlier, unknown phase of construction. Could this well have been a crucial component of an ancient hydraulic system designed to draw water, perhaps from the Nile via an underground conduit, and use its flow or pressure in some energy-generating process? The Giza Plateau itself sits very close to the Nile River, and there's geological evidence of ancient underground water channels and aquifers beneath the pyramids. Within the Great Pyramid, beneath the Queen's Chamber, there is a deep, narrow shaft, known as the well or grotto, that descends into the bedrock. Even more controversially, some fringe theories propose the use of mercury within the pyramid. This leads to the ancient battery or electrochemical hypothesis. Proponents of these ideas often point to the incredibly smooth. It's crucial to state that these are highly speculative theories. If the pyramids were designed to interact with energy, whether acoustic or otherwise, then how might that energy have been generated or amplified? One of the more audacious yet intriguing theories involves the presence of specific materials within or beneath the pyramids, materials known for their conductive or catalytic properties. Specifically, we're talking about water and mercury, not just as basic elements, but as integral components in a larger, forgotten system. The Giza Plateau itself sits very close to the Nile River, and there's geological evidence of ancient underground water channels and aquifers beneath the pyramids. Some theories propose that these structures were designed to interact directly with this underground water table. The Baghdad Battery, a widely debated artifact from Parthian Iraq, often lacking direct archaeological proof. However, they stem from a place of genuine curiosity about the anomalies that persist despite conventional explanations. The questions about water's interaction, the potential for rare materials, and the intriguing parallels to simpler ancient electrical devices force us to expand our thinking. If the pyramids were indeed designed to be active machines, then the precise control and manipulation of elements like water and other natural resources would have been paramount, suggesting a level of scientific understanding that pushes the boundaries of our historical textbooks. The pursuit of these hidden mechanisms, even if they remain unproven, opens up exhilarating new avenues for understanding these truly monumental and mysterious structures. It is a prime example of how ancient cultures could have understood and utilized basic electrochemical principles. While its true purpose remains debated, it demonstrates the technical capacity for simple galvanic cells in antiquity. Could the materials within the pyramid, copper, granite, water, have been intentionally arranged to create a gigantic, slow-acting, or highly resonant form of ancient battery? The very air within the sealed chambers of the pyramid has been found to have an unusually high ionization, a phenomenon sometimes associated with electrical activity. This feature, unlike the main chambers, appears raw and unfinished, leading to speculation that it predates the pyramid itself, or was part of an earlier, unknown phase of construction. Almost polished surfaces found in some of the pyramids, chambers, and sarcophagi, surfaces that are difficult to achieve with conventional tools. Some have even proposed that a form of electrolysis or a similar process involving water and perhaps other chemicals could have been used to shape and polish the stone, or even to create a kind of ancient concrete that was then precisely molded. Could this well have been a crucial component of an ancient hydraulic system designed to draw water, perhaps from the Nile, via an underground conduit, and use its flow or pressure in some energy-generating process? Water, especially moving water, can generate energy. While there's no direct archaeological evidence of large quantities of mercury being used in the pyramids, ancient texts from other cultures, like the Vimanas of ancient India, speak of flying machines powered by red mercury and complex vortex engines. While this is certainly speculative for Egypt, it's the idea of mercury's unique properties, its high density, electrical conductivity, and peculiar behavior, has fueled these discussions. Could mercury, perhaps used in smaller sealed conduits or reservoirs, have acted as a component in an electrochemical cell, or even as a fluid that could be manipulated by magnetic or vibrational fields? Think of hydroelectric power, albeit on a vastly different scale and using different principles. Could the intricate network of shafts, chambers, potential hidden conduits within and beneath the pyramid have been designed to channel and manipulate this flowing water in a way that produced a form of energy or vibration? Within the Great Pyramid, beneath the Queen's Chamber, there is a deep, narrow shaft known as the well or grotto that descends into the bedrock, eventually reaching a subterranean chamber that is partially filled with water. Even more controversially, some fringe theories propose the use of mercury within the pyramid. This leads to the ancient battery or electrochemical hypothesis. Proponents of these ideas often point to the incredibly smooth. It's crucial to state that these are highly speculative theories. We've journeyed through ancient engineering puzzles, considered the whispers of acoustic power, delved into the possibility of forgotten material sciences, and gazed up at the cosmic connections. Now, let us confront the most audacious question of all. What if the power source of the pyramids remains unseen and unmeasured by our current scientific instruments? What if the energy they harnessed or generated is a form of subtle, non-electromagnetic energy that our prevailing paradigms have yet to fully acknowledge or quantify? Mainstream science operates within a framework of known physics: electromagnetism, gravity, nuclear forces. Yet the history of science is replete with instances where new forces or particles were discovered, completely revolutionizing our understanding of the universe, particularly their high quartz content. The pyramids stand as a monumental challenge to our assumptions about history, technology, and consciousness. They are an open invitation to explore the edges of our understanding. As our scientific tools become more sophisticated, perhaps we will develop the means to detect and measure these unseen energies. New methods of remote sensing, advanced geophysical surveys, and even quantum measurement techniques might one day reveal the subtle signatures of a forgotten power source have also been cited. Notion that the pyramids might be powered by something we do understand is a dismissal of ancient ingenuity. It's an elevation of it. It suggests that our ancestors might have possessed a deeper, more holistic understanding of the universe, one that integrated knowledge of astronomy, geology, acoustics, and subtle energies, long before the advent of our modern scientific method. The questions surrounding their true purpose remain, but the journey to finding the answers promises to be one of the most exciting intellectual adventures humanity can embark upon. The secrets of the pyramids, like hidden currents beneath the sands, may yet reveal a future history we are only just beginning to imagine. Quartz is piezoelectric, meaning it generates an electric charge when mechanically stressed, and can resonate with great precision. What if the massive quantities of quartz-bearing stone within the pyramids, when subjected to subtle Earth's vibrations, atmospheric changes, or even resonant sound, generated minute electrical currents that, over time, accumulated or created a unique energy field? Could the pyramids be tapping into a form of zero-point energy, torsion fields, or etheric energy? Concepts that, while highly speculative in mainstream physics, are explored by cutting-edge researchers pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Zero-point energy, for instance, refers to the residual energy that remains in a system at absolute zero temperature, suggesting that even a vacuum is teeming with vast, untapped energy. Torsion fields, proposed by some Russian scientists, are theoretical energy fields that are said to propagate through space, carrying information and potentially influencing matter. While these concepts are far from proven, the enduring mystery of the pyramids and their apparent defiance of conventional explanations forces us to consider that our current understanding of energy may be incomplete. Could the pyramids be gigantic resonators or condensers for such exotic, omnipresent energies? Another fascinating angle is the concept of morphogenetic fields, or consciousness energy. Some theories suggest that collective human consciousness or specific mental states can interact with reality in subtle ways, and that ancient sacred sites were designed to amplify or focus this type of energy. Could the sheer spiritual devotion and focused intention of millions of ancient Egyptians, channeled through the geometric precision of the pyramids, have created an energetic resonance that transcended purely physical laws? This moves us into a realm where the lines between science and spirituality blur, but it offers a potential explanation for effects that defy purely mechanistic understanding. The very materials of the pyramids, ultimately as we stand before the enduring majesty of the Great Pyramids, our questions persist, echoing through the millennia. Were they truly mere tombs? Or were they something far, far more? It's about daring to challenge our comfortable narratives, to look beyond the obvious, and to consider the extraordinary. The true genius of the ancient Egyptians may lie not just in their ability to move stone, but in their profound understanding of the natural world, its hidden forces, and its cosmic connections. Their legacy, etched in stone, continues to inspire a sense of wonder and a thirst for knowledge that transcends time. Perhaps not simply monuments to pharaohs, but colossal machines, designed for purposes we are only now beginning to fathom. Whether harnessing the Earth's subtle energies, amplifying the power of sound, drawing upon the mysterious forces of the cosmos, or even tapping into forms of energy yet unknown to modern science, the possibilities are as vast as the desert sky above them. This isn't about discarding established history, but about enriching it. The journey into the secrets of the pyramids is far from over. With every new discovery, every re-examination of old evidence, and every bold new theory, we chip away at the layers of mystery. Perhaps one day, we will fully unlock the astonishing truth of how these ancient wonders were built and what they were truly built for. Until then, they stand as silent guardians of a forgotten past, challenging us to look deeper, to listen closer, and to consider the profound possibility that the greatest power of the pyramids lies in a knowledge we are still struggling to understand. What do you believe the pyramids were truly designed to do?